What's poppin', everybody? This is SibRoll94, bringing you guys Pokemon sets from past formats from the EX series this time, and we're down to our third set covering EX Dragon. This is going to be another really cool set, well-rounded set, man, with all the good cards. It's just these sets were just so good. Only 100 cards, but I mean, I say only. A set with 100 cards is a normal set for me. Anything less than that is kind of small, and bigger than that it starts to get really big. Of course, we have sets like that have 130 cards, 150 cards. Those are really big. It has like 100, 110. Maybe it's not that bad. This is 100 cards, like the Sandstorm one. And like it says, Dragon, EX Dragon is the name. This is going to be themed around Dragon Pokemon. Before there were dragons, they were colorless. So I'm going to start from the bottom once again. We're going to go straight to the EXs this time and then cover the rest of the shit. The most important stuff. So we have 9 fucking EXs in this set. The previous one we had like 7, 8, something like that. This time we'll get 9, so they weren't slowing down at all. A lot of EXs, man. Once again, I'm not sure of the ratios. Maybe you would get like 2 from a box, maybe 3. I don't know. From what I know, is 2 should be reasonable, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So let's go with order once again. So let's start with Ampharos EX, first guy. So Ampharos EX, very cool. I'm pretty sure this card is very pricey too, because it's an Ampharos card, the original old school Ampharos EX too, and it's pretty cool as well. So this guy with 150 HP standard, having a useful metal resistance, retreat is kind of big, but hey, we'll get by. And it has the Pokebody, Conductivity. As long as Ampharos EX is in play, whenever your opponent attaches an energy from his or her hand to their Pokemon, you put 1 damage counter on that Pokemon. And you can't put more than 1 damage counter, even if there's more than 1 Ampharos EX in play. So basically what it says is that you can't stack this effect. But this is still pretty good. We've seen this a billion times with Ampharos cards. I'm not really sure when did it start. Maybe it started with this card. Maybe it started in the second generation. But this is definitely one of the earlier cards where it does this, where it has this sort of effect that puts damage counters on the opponent when they attach energies from the hand to them. I've seen this on the Black and White series when it was just exclusive to EX Pokemon, I think, or there was one in X and Y that did this, I'm not sure. I've seen this in DP, I think, and we've seen this in with this Ampharos EX. So one of the stuff that it does is a good ability, even if you can't stack it. It works from the bench as well. Some of the other ones need to be active. So when they attach an energy, 1 damage counter. This can be a pretty big deal. You were definitely gonna put the hurt on against Blastoise decks and shit. They would get damage counters from Blastoise effect anyway. So with this, you're piling up the damage. So the Pokebot is really good. And it only has 1 attack, a Gigavolt, 3 energy attack. It does 40 and you flip a coin. If heads, it's going to do 40 plus 30. If tails, it if any Pokemon is paralyzed. So yeah, pretty much exactly like Ampharos Prime at this point. Yeah, they're very similar now that I look at the attack as well. Has an attack where basically no matter what you get on the coin flip, you get a decent effect. If you get heads, 70 for 3 is solid on an EX during that time. And if you get tails, paralysis, instant paralysis is pretty good as well. So this is a very nice card, very good EX card. Okay, next up we got Dragonite, the original Dragonite EX. This card is also pretty strong from what I remember it. And colorless Pokemon, this was how the Dragon type were back in the day. Weak to colorless. Has a double resistance too, which is a very good thing. Grass and fighting. And call for power is the Poke Power. Wow, very nice. And let's see if it's fitting. As often as you like during your turn, you may move an energy card attached to one of your Pokemon to Dragonite EX. Okay, so you can move energies from your other Pokemon to this guy, as opposed to help with his attacks. We have Dragon Wave. You discard a water energy and a lightning energy attached to Dragonite EX, but it does 70 for 2. So I suppose that's reasonable, not bad. And Giant Tail, This attack is basically a 120 for 4, any energy too. But if you flip tails, you have to flip a coin. Doesn't do anything. Now that's too bad because this is a strong ass attack. If you basically get heads, doing 120 for 4 for free is very strong. You can use any energy. DCE wasn't around back then, thank God, but still, just using any energy is really flexible. We had other crazy energies anyway, so it doesn't matter. So the second attack, not that good, but the first attack isn't that bad. It has a double resistance too. The power can be useful. You can grab energies from your guys, and there's going to be a card that helps with that too in here, a supporter. That's pretty important if you ask me. The AZ style, scoop up supporter style. But yeah, the power is good. The first attack is pretty nice if you ask me. And yeah, Dragon IDX looking really good. Next up we have Golem EX. This guy's decent, I guess, but I'm not the biggest fan of. Brings back memories, even though it wasn't that long ago. But I did my first Pokemon TCG overview was on Golem, because that's the first Pokemon that came to my mind when I thought of that series. And its HP is pretty good. Everything else is kind of meh. The double weakness isn't great. A big ass retreat cost with 5 isn't attractive either. And it has 2 attacks. Double edge, I'm not the biggest fan of. It's a 5 energy attack that's going to do 120 damage. That's fine and dandy, but you do 50 damage to yourself. Now, if it was like, I don't know, like 20, maybe even 30, I would have been like, fine, maybe I'll give you a pass. But 50 damage is just too much. It's too much self-damage, even with his big 160 HP. Magnitude might be the better attack. It's going to do 60 for 3, not really that special, and it does 10 damage to each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent. So kind of similar to Aggron. For 2 less energy, you do 10 more to the active, and you do not 20 to everybody else on the bench, but 10, and you hit your guys too. So you can put on the hurt with this attack. If you do this a couple of times in your opponent, it's quicker too. The problem is that you hit your guys. If you can take advantage of the fact that you're hitting your guys somehow, maybe with rage, flail attacks, or what have you on your Pokemon, or minimize, remove the damage. I don't know what you're going to do, block the damage on the bench. I'm not sure if we could do this yet. There are some Pokemon that will be able to. Then maybe it's fine. You're going to do good spread damage, 10 to everybody on your opponent's bench and 60 to the active. It's solid enough. You're getting 2-hit knockouts more than likely on basically any Pokemon that's not EX, maybe. And you're spreading good damage everywhere. So maybe it's a little bit okay. It's a weak EX, though, if you ask me. Ampharos and even Dragonite are definitely better so far. Next we got Kindra EX. This card is also pretty underwhelming, a little bit. The original Kindra EX, Water, 150 HP. This also has a double weakness, and the retreat is kind of big as well at 3. And it's not all that. It can do genetic memory with 1 energy, 1 water energy. You use any attack from Kindra EX's basic or stage 1 evolution cards. Now I looked at the Horsey and the 2 Seadras in this set. We'll look at them later too. And they don't really have any attacks that are going to be very good. I mean, at best, I think there's one attack that does 40. So since you don't have to meet the energy cost, maybe you can do like 1 for 40. That's not bad, I guess, but I mean, yeah, that's not bad. For back then, it was as good as a speed attack you could get. 1 for 40, no drawbacks and shit. You didn't see that really, unless you did some combos and shit. And Hydro Cannon, 3 energy attack, works with anything. It's going to do 50 damage and 20 more damage for each water energy, but not used to pay for the attack cost, of course. This was way back in the day. And you can't even add more than 40. So basically, if you attach, if you have 4 energy and at least 1 water, it does 70 for 4. And if you have 5, it's going to do 90. So not really that great. Yeah, you can use things like the Swampert from the original Ruby set. and that's why there's so many Pokemon like that that do this sort of water attacks with do more damage with more water energy. But there were better Pokemon maybe to take advantage of that, such as Swampert EX. Who knows? Okay, Kindra EX, not that bad, but not that good either. Uh, Definitely Dragonite and Ampharos are still winning. These guys are lesser. Next up, we got Latias and Latios EX, of course, since this is the Dragon set. Their debut, they debuted as EXs. Same with Rayquaza. Man, I can't wait. But okay, Latias EX, 90 HP, a little bit small, but this is a basic EX Pokemon. Right. Can do Hypnoblast, 1 for 10, not really that impressive. And you flip a coin if heads it if any Pokemon is now asleep, still not that impressive. And you can do Mist Ball, does 100, and you have to discard a fire and a water energy attached to Latias EX. This is impressive for a basic Pokemon. Now, later on with Blastoise and other methods, I guess you could use this Pokemon and do mass damage, but there were so many other better candidates. Lugia EX came out, and even fucking Rayquaza EX I'm going to talk pretty soon outclasses this Pokemon in that regard, doing a lot of damage and discarding energy. But the Psychic and Fighter resistance is a useful thing to have. Weak to Colorless again, Dragon. It's sad that it has a 2 retreat cost with only 90 HP and it's Latias, but this is definitely a pretty looking card at the very least. Original Latias EX. Next up we got Latios. This guy might even be worse if you ask me. 100 HP, so that's a little better. And Energy Stream. This might be a better attack, even though it's not really that great. It should have accelerated always, but you do 10 for 1, and you flip a coin. If heads, you can search your discard pile for a basic energy, attach it to Latios EX. So yeah, you can't attach it to anybody else. You have to attach it to this guy. If you get the effect is good, you can I guess help with a Luster Purge, signature attack for Latios in the games too. This attack does 100 for 3 as well, but you discard all energies. Now granted, you can discard anything you want. It doesn't specify like Latias, but I don't really see what the big benefit of that is. There must be something, but I'd rather be forced to discard a fire and a water, like discard something specific and discard 2 instead of 3. It also has a double resistance, grass and fighting in this case, only weakness to colorless, and 2 retreat cost as well. They're not really that great. They're basic EXs. I suppose they're much better than the ones in EX Ruby and Sapphire, even better than Mewtwo perhaps maybe, but not the greatest. Cargo EX. This is a stage 1 dude. Only 1 weakness to water. Okay, 100 HP. Melting Mountain. You discard the top card of your deck. If it is a basic energy card, you attach it to Cargo EX, and does 20. And Lava Flow, a 3 energy attack, does 40. And you may discard any number of basic energy cards attached to Cargo EX, and you can do 20 more. Or, yeah, 20 more for each basic energy you discarded. So obviously this is another guy that works with Blaziken, the starter, that has Fire Starter, Dynamotor shit, grab fire energies from the discard pile. This works too. This might be one of the heavier hitters maybe. I mean, you have the unlimited damage potential shit, since you're not into the fixed 100 damage that Camerup does, and even Typhlosion EX basically does 100. This, I guess if you discard, let's see, you need to discard, if you discard all 3, it's going to do 100. If you put a 4th one and you discard all of them, you can do 120. So that can be something. This way you can get one-hit knockouts on stage 2 Pokemon and shit. And that might be nice. You discard a lot of energies, and you might not be able to build them up quickly enough. But he has the potential to get kills on Pokemon that Camera possibly can't kill. Now, I don't think this is good enough maybe to replace that guy. A guy doing 100 and you only do discard 2 is also a regular stage 1 Pokemon with 90 HP. This guy being an EX, 100 HP. Might not be that good, I guess. But he's there. He's my Cargo EX. Still not bad, but not that amazing either. And next we got Muck EX. This guy's definitely good. With Toxic Gas Pokebody. So as long as Muck EX is your active Pokemon, ignore all Pokepowers and Pokebodies other than Toxic Gas. So this is basically Garbodor with Garbotoxin. The only difference is you have to be active, and he doesn't need a tool or some shit. But before Garbodor, Muck was the original guy that blocked powers and shit and bodies and all this shit, even from the Wizards of the Coast base set kind of days. He does this shit. Jason Klaczynski has an actual deck with this guy on his articles. You use the Grimer from, I believe it was Team Rocket or Hidden Legends. I'm not sure, but a Grimer that has Ascension. So you can evolve as quick as turn 1 to Muck EX, and you're going to block your opponent's powers and bodies from very, very early, turn 1, turn 2, and that can be that can be very significant. It is very significant, actually. And like he said, his average attacks can do good damage by then. With Poison Breath, you do 1 for 10, but you also poison the opponent. This is a pretty nice attack. With the poison, it's going to add up. And the good thing is with status conditions back then is that they're a little bit stronger than you guys might think, because Pokemon with Pokepowers that had a status condition, they couldn't use them. They couldn't use the powers. So you kind of had this stun effect. I mean, with Muck EX, you would gonna block them with your body, either way. But just in case shit happened, I guess you even have this extra backup hate, I guess. So Poison Breath, nice attack for 1 energy. And Slimy Water, it does 40 damage for 3. And it's gonna do 10 more damage for each colorless energy the defending Pokemon's retreat cost. Yeah, so for each energy in their retreat cost, for each energy in the retreat cost, the bigger the retreat cost, it would do more damage. We've seen this before. We've seen this since then. I was trying to figure out exactly how to say it right. But so big retreat Pokemon, you were going to do more damage. So at best, I guess you were going to do 50 for 3, since the minimum, most Pokemon have 1 retreat. The Pokemon that have free retreat are kind of like the exceptions. They're special Pokemon. And we do have those, of course. So I'm thinking on average you're going to do maybe 50, 60 damage to retreat cost. You're going to do pretty solid damage against big guys. Yeah, as you guys can see, we do have even 5 retreat Pokemon. So Slimy Water, not the greatest attack, but once you build it, I guess, it's decent. If you're blocking their powers and bodies too from the beginning, not bad. Muck EX, definitely one of the better ones. Good Pokemon. And now to the final one, and the best one, and my favorite one. The coolest one, the original Rayquaza EX. So I can't tell you how important this card is for me. It was for this set, and it is in general for the Pokemon TCG. So this is the original Rayquaza EX card, and the original Rayquaza card in general, basically Rayquaza debuted as an EX in this set, and it's quite fitting. So with 100 HP, solid EX Pokemon that were basic. They weren't getting more than 100 HP, basically. Has a very good double resistance to water and fighting, basically resisting Kyogre and Groudon, cool shit. The colorless weakness, and it has solid ass, well, solid is an understatement, a good solid attack and a crazy great second attack. So Spiral Growth, the first attack, you flip a coin until you get tails, and for each heads you can search your discard pile for a basic energy and attach to Rayquaza EX. So he can basically help himself grab the necessary energies, so you can use a Dragon Burst, which of course is your typical Rayquaza EX attack at this point. You discard either all fire or lightning energy attached to Rayquaza EX, and it's going to do 40 damage times the amount of fire or lightning energy cards you discarded. So basically the Dragon's Exalted Rayquaza EX, if you guys are familiar with that, seen my games and shit, or if you're a newer guy, this is the original model. And for back then, this attack was insanely strong. Basically what this means is that if you discard 3, you're doing 120 damage. 120 damage for just a 3 energy discard. You don't even need to discard 4 with Macargo and shit. Now, granted, you need 2 different types, but this is a basic Pokemon, and you knocked out anything with this dude. You had the potential to knock out anything. It was so easy for back then. The damage was very very high. Just discarding 2 or 3 energies and doing this kind of damage. Crazy, crazy, crazy good, man. Very very powerful. Now, as I say that, even with this guy's crazy attack, uh, being a basic EX Pokemon with 100 HP, yeah, it was as good as they got, and it's not bad, but it wasn't quite enough to make him last enough. If it had like 110 HP or 120 HP, it would have made a very very big difference. So even though his attack is very crazy, if you look at the Blaziken, Firestarter, Dynamotor, Disco Polydex and shit, this guy was kind of used as a backup dude. Like you mainly used the Blaziken EX and the regular Blaziken, and this guy was kind of like a backup dude. I mean, in Jason Klaczynski's deck list, I've seen him run 2. Uh, Other guys in the past I've seen when I saw deck lists and shit, and other sort of advice and shit, they would just run 1 and say you have to focus on Blaziken EX, and this guy like a fast, like a last resort guy. Like you use him towards the end of the game to get maybe the last prizes and shit, or you just use him at the end kind of thing. You don't want to rely on him since he's an EX Pokemon that's going to give 2 prizes with 100 HP. But Jason Klaczynski ran 2 of this guy in his deck, so who knows? I'm pretty sure Blaziken should still be the main focus, Blaziken EX in that deck. But this guy, of course, is very significant. Rayquaza cards, as you guys know, even if you guys have watched the top 10 best TCG cards from Jason Klaczynski, that was a great video he made. Have always been some of the best cards, very consistent cards. He always has a way to do crazy damage, and he always find a partner or some way to make his difficult attack work, and you kill things in one hit. You guys know with Shiny Rayquaza, right now, basic Pokemon that can do 190 damage, you discard 3, but very crazy damage, man. Very, very crazy. And this is the card that started it all, started everything. Very, very nice. Rayquaza EX. So this is definitely the best EX card from this set. Ampharos I feel is pretty good. Mach EX is pretty good as well. Macargo might be able to do something too, but he's kind of outclassed by Rayquaza and other guys. And the other guys are just decent. Dragonite might not be that bad too, with a power and attack. Okay, and we have these secret rares, Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard too. They decided to include them, I guess. The dragon-like starter, that's not a dragon, but Charmander has Rage. This guy does some shit. And of course we have Charizard, 120 HP. Wow, looks kinda not your typical art, but very nice nonetheless. So collect fire. You do 30 for 2. You flip a coin. If heads, you search your discard pile for 2 fire energy cards. Attach them to Charizard. So nice energy acceleration effect if you get heads. And Flame Pillar. You do 60 for 4, and you may discard a fire energy attached to Charizard. And if you do, choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and do 30 to that dude. Okay, so that's not that amazing of an attack. I mean, I guess if you discard an energy, fire energy, it can do 90 damage total for 4 energies and a discard. Not the greatest. I thought it was going to do some crazy shit with the first attack grabbing energies and Flame Pillar being big. But this is Charizard. So I'm not exactly sure if these cards are secret rares from this set. They should be. But at the same time, for the EX series booster boxes, when you got an EX booster box, they had a sort of a holo variant card, you could say, promo card that was going to be, there were usually maybe 2 or 3 or maybe even 1, I'm not sure. And you got that at random. Kind of like when we get the Yu-Gi-Oh! Special Editions, or I used to, you get one of 2 like promo cards in. They're usually reprints. These cards were original cards. So you might actually get these cards, I'm not sure, either Charmander, Charmeleon, or Charizard when you get a box. If not, they're just basically booster box secret rares then. Speaking of which, we have this Absol too. This might be like the card that you get. I think it might be the first card from every set, from every EX set. I'm not sure because I remember there's a Pikachu like that and some other cards. So these might actually be the secret rares that you get from the packs, and this might be the fucking promo card you get. This guy and Altaria maybe, or just Absol. So let's look at Absol since I'm here. We're gonna look at the hollow shits. So 70 HP basic Pokemon. You got Bad News as an attack. Bad News, motherfucker. So if the number of cards in your opponent's hand is at least 6, you choose a number of cards there without looking until your opponent has 5 cards left, and your opponent discards the rest of the shit. Discards the cards you chose. And prize count, if you have more prize cards left than your opponent, this attack is going to do 40 damage for 2, and just does 20 for 1, for 2, normally. Nice card. I bought this card as a single. It was very expensive. Couldn't find it cheap. Even as a holo, like $10, man. But yeah. Let's look at Altaria to some here. Original Altaria. So Dragon Dance during your next turn. If any of your current active Pokemon does damage to any defending Pokemon, the attack does 40 more damage. So you help your other active Pokemon in a double battle. And Dragon Song, you do 30 for 2, and you put both defending Pokemon, if there's a double battle, to sleep. Got a nice double resistance, 80 HP. Alright, I guess for stage 1. It's got 2 resistances. Nice, nice. We got Crawdaunt with Power Pinchers. As long as Crawdaunt is your active Pokemon, when any of your active Pokemon does damage to the defending Pokemon, the attack does 10 more damage. So it can't stack since it has to be active. It would have been broken if it could stack, work from the bench. So essentially you can do 60 damage for 3 basically with Guillotine. And I suppose you can hit the other defending Pokemon too. And in a double battle, once again, you get the bonus then. Nice, nice. So we got Flygon. We have 2 Flygons and 2 Salamences from this set. This is the hollow one, possibly the better one. 120 HP, very, very good, and a double resistance as well. That's one of the good things Dragon Pokemon had back in the day. They had double resistances and good resistances too, like fire, fighting in this case. Flygon has lightning fighting in this case. Salamence I know has like fire fighting and shit. So Energy Shower. Attach any number of basic energy cards from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. So this attack, it costs 2, a grass and a lightning, and you waste your attack for the turn to attach energies. But if you have a bunch of energies in hand, this was going to be pretty good for back then. Flygon has seen this kind of attack before, even in Primal Clash, I think, or in Furious Fists. And at this point, attacks like that are slow and not as efficient. But back then, I mean, you spend a turn to attach a bunch of energies, man, with this attack. It was going to be pretty significant. It was powerful. If you manage to grab a lot of them in hand, we have ways to do that. You'll see pretty soon. And Rainbow Burn does 30 damage plus 10 more damage for each type of basic energy card attached to Flygon. So yeah, if he has like 3, this works with any energy. 3 different ones. It's going to do 60 for 30, 60 for 3, what I mean. Not the greatest, I'm not gonna lie, but it has the potential to go over that as opposed to. Okay. Next up, Golem. I kind of like this card, it's pretty good. Once again, from my Golem TCG overview, first video I made. And we have Rock Vengeance with this guy. Pretty good. It does 20 damage plus 10 more damage for each damage card on all of your active Pokemon. So basically this means Golem, since it's going to be the active guy, but in a double battle, you get the plus once again, and it's going to be very powerful. This is going to be very powerful in a double battle especially. 3 is a lot for a rage type of attack like this. Man, almost bit my tongue there. Yeah. But it's quite powerful. So basically, if you have like, let's say 5 damage counters on. It does 70 for 3. That's very good. And it has 120 HP, is as big as it can get. This guy's gonna last. Looks awesome as well. And the second attack is kind of decent as well. Rock Slide. You do 60 for 5, and you do 20 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So, considering Aggron EX does like almost the same attack and does less base damage, but I guess can hit all of the bench guys, this guy's attack is pretty good if you ask me. It's basically 100 damage total for 5 energies. And yeah, it's only 60 to the active, and the 20 is through spread on 2 Pokemon. But in total damage is 100. Spread was better back then, like I've said a billion times, and it's not bad. It's not really that bad. It's not the greatest. The Golem from Legend Maker is much better. But this guy was pretty good. One of the best Golems for sure, if you ask me. So a nice stage 2 Pokemon. We got Grumpig, Psychic Hollow Dude, Psychic Boom, does 20 damage plus 10 more damage for each energy attached to defending Pokemon. So Gardevoir style like dude, not bad, nice attack. And Mind Trip, if Grumpig and the defending Pokemon have the same amount of energy attached to them, the defending Pokemon is confused. So Grumpig having this sort of same attack shit. He has this a lot. So 50 with confusion, I guess it's okay. I would have liked more damage, to be honest. Even if it was something like 70, that would be something, 20 more. But I suppose that's what we got. Okay, next up we got Minun and Plusle. These cards look very, 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 very cute. So basically, these cards are made to work in double battles, Minun and Plusle. They have the same Pokebody, chain of events. As long as Minun is your active Pokemon, whenever your other active Pokemon, if any attacks, you may use Cheer On. Okay, so I guess they don't... Oh wait, no. You may use Cheer On after the first attack. So yeah, I was gonna say they don't need to be Minun and Plusle to work together, but yeah, they do, because Cheer On, this is basically Minun and Plusle's attack. And what this attack does is you remove 1 damage counter from each of your Pokemon, including Minun. So basically, if the Plusle attacks, then you can immediately use Cheer On as well, and you basically get 2 attacks in that turn. You can get a free Cheer On attack, because I'm pretty sure the rule was back then you can, even though it's a double battle, 2 active Pokemon, you can only choose one of them to attack. Only one guy was going to attack, and you have to choose which guy to attack too. Okay, and Special Circuit, you choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 20 damage to that Pokemon, and if you choose a Pokemon that has a Pokepower Pokebody, it is 40 instead. So this is pretty nice. It's a snipe. It's a little mini snipe. 40 for 2 is pretty good for a Pokemon with Pokepower Pokebody. The best Pokemon had, of course, a Pokepower and Pokebody. They were everywhere back then. So more than likely, we're going to get this effect. Kind of like with Gengar from Stormfront, his first attack. And this actually puts to shame a lot of other Pokemon. Even maybe, not necessarily Salamence EX, but other Pokemon that did like snipe for 30 and 20 and shit like that. Like fucking Swellow we're going to see. Damn, shame. I think it might be in this set or in another set. Anyway, I think there's 2 of them that snipe actually. Oh well. So very, very cute holographic art. Mine in here. And Plusle too. Oh, looking like wondering in awe, surprise shit. Very, 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 very cute, man. Chain of events once again is the same shit. As long as Plusle is your active Pokemon, if your other active Pokemon attacks, you can use Cheer On. And they have the same first attack, Cheer On, remove 1 damage card from everybody. And Extra Circuit, this attack is almost the same. It's a 20 damage snipe, but this is going to do 40 if you choose an EX Pokemon, so EX Hate. So yeah, these guys weren't that amazing because 50 HP isn't a lot. They're basic Pokemon, so I guess in the beginning they might do some good shit, but then later on they can't really do shit. Very nice collectible cards though, if you ask me. Okay, so Roselia, are you any good? Alright, so you do some shit. This was before Roselia could evolve into Roserade, and actually before Budew was released as well. So this was just a basic Pokemon that didn't evolve. Similar to Magmar, actually. So thick skin, can't be affected by special conditions. Okay, not bad. You got speed growth, attach up to 2 grass energies from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. Not bad, not bad. And sleep powder, the defending Pokemon is now asleep. So, and you do 10 too. Okay, decent little Pokemon. Possibly not going to win any awards, but just a solid Pokemon overall. Next up, we got Salamence. This is the, I guess, better Salamence of the two in this set, maybe. A hollow one. I guess you could say it's the original Salamence as well. This card is decent, I guess. 120 HP is a big Pokemon, and it's really good with a double resistance, fire and fighting. Retreat at 2 is not the greatest, but it's not horrible either. And he has a bunch of decent shit. Dragon Wind is basically, if Salamence is your active Pokemon, you could switch your opponent's bench Pokemon with one of their defending Pokemon. So it was basically a War Point escape rope, however you want to call it. Your opponent chooses, but it's still good. And it has agility, 20 for 2. That's not that great on this stage 2 Pokemon. But you also flip a coin. If heads, you prevent all effects of the attack and damage and shit. This sort of effect of agility, you guys know. And Dragon Claw just did a 60 for 4 attack. It's not that hot, man, but it's just standard. Like, it's such average, let's say, average standard. I don't want to say it's okay. It was just an okay Pokemon. Like I've said in my top 10 Salamence video. Yeah, a lot of these cards just show up from my other videos. Not going to win any awards again, but it was okay. Definitely better than the Shiftry that did almost the same shit with a 4 energy 60 attack. Next up we got Shedinja. I know this Pokemon, Shedinja, actually, is interesting. So this is a stage 1 guy with only 30 HP. So, like the games, super fragile as fuck. But with Wonder Guard, you prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to Shedinja, by your opponent's evolved and Pokemon EX. So nothing can hurt this guy basically, except basic Pokemon. And yeah, basic Pokemon, baby Pokemon, whatever you wanna. I guess they're included too. So it does cover a lot of ground. Now, of course, basic Pokemon, they're basic Pokemon. They're gonna be around. They're not like some special Pokemon that nobody uses. But it still covers a lot of ground. If your opponent maybe filled his bench with a bunch of evolved Pokemon, you might get them stuck there. And you do make it hard for them. I mean, 30 HP is still pretty low, so you're risking some shit. It doesn't have a weakness, doesn't have a resistance either. Only 1 retreat, I guess it's alright. Would have preferred free retreat, but yeah. But it's a nice, you know, sort of safeguard stun body. And damage curse isn't that bad either. You put 1 damage counter plus 1 more damage counter for each damage counter Shedinja. Okay, so basically you're going to do 1 for 10 in the form of an effect. I guess if this guy has 10 or 20 damage on, you're going to do 20 or 30 for 1. But I'm guessing if this guy gets attacked, he's probably going to die. So yeah. Original Shedinja Hollow though. Okay. Torkoal, he's not that good. Then we got another Crawdont here. You got Dragonair, you got the Flygon, and the other Salamence. These cards are from the theme decks. You get them as hollows from the theme deck, I believe, and just regular rares here. You got Sandguard. Whenever Flygon will be damaged by your opponent's attack, you flip a coin. If heads, reduce that damage by 20. Arrow Slash does 60 for Grass, Lightning, and Colorless. And if tails, you discard an energy card. Alright. Here we got Magneton. This card is this is a good card. So Magneton, basically this card has the same effect as Starmie from Evolutions, the original kind of effect. Magnetic Field, once during your turn. If you have basic energy cards in discard pile, you discard 1 card from your hand. Then you can grab up to 2 basic energy cards from there and you put them into your hand. So This was kind of neat since you can combo with Delcatty. Always make sure you have energies and draw cards. You get rid of a useless card in your hand, and you can use Delcatty, draw cards, and you can actually use the effect of Delcatty 2 times. You've had 2 Delcattys down, you grab 2 energies. You could even draw 6 cards if you wanted to that turn, if everything went right. Maybe you wouldn't get this sort of amazing sort of synergy. Have 3 spots there reserved for support Pokemon. But I mean, Pidgeot didn't get released yet, so maybe. And then later on, I guess you can use this with Blastoise EX deck. I don't think people used it. At least I didn't see Jason Klaczynski's deck list use it. But it's something, man. It's not bad. It's you discard any card, you grab 2 energies. A good effect. Definitely see use. Magnetic Force does 10 damage times the amount of energy attached to all of your Pokemon, including Magneton. Wow, so this is the same attack that fucking Gardevoir does. Shit. Oh, wait, it's only all of your Pokemon. Okay, but it's still good. Non-EX Pokemon. Before Magneton came out, 70 HP, Metal Resistance. Nice Pokemon, once again. And next, I think I'm just going to talk about Salamence and Skarmory, and we need to see the trainers. I meant to look at the trainers after the X Pokemon, but we kind of went on top, and I decided to stay there. So this Salamence has pretty iconic art. Man, I remember the Maryland sort of EV video. Good times. 100 HP, it has less than the Hollow Salamence, but it doesn't have a weakness, so this might be something. But no resistance either, so yeah. Intimidating Fang, as long as this guy's active, you remove any damage done to all of your Pokemon by 10. So good effect, better than the Flygon one, since you don't have to flip a coin. And you can block your bench guys too. And you got Dragon Flame, does 40 for 3. And if you want to discard an energy, it's going to do 60. Not bad, I guess. And we got Skarmory. This attack, this guy does basically almost the same shit as the Absol from this set. If your opponent has at least 6 cards, you look at his hand, you choose a bunch of cards until he has 5 cards left, and then he shuffles the cards back into the deck, the other cards, instead of discarding them. And Power Count, this is an interesting attack. You count the amount of energy cards attached to all of your Pokemon and your opponent's Pokemon, and if you have less total energy, if your whole field has less total energy than your opponent's field, this attack is going to do 50 damage for 2. And without the effect, just 20. Not bad, not bad. Now we got Camera up too. Okay, it doesn't do shit. So these are the Pokemon. We get a bunch of other nice little guys. Like there's, for some reason, three fucking Corfishes in here. Crazy, man. I haven't seen this like ever. We get 2 Bacons too. That's nice. I like these guys. Concept art, original Bacons. You got the Horsey and the shit. Where are you? The Seadras. They're not that amazing. And somewhere Swellow is in here too. Just want to look at you. It's got Free Retreat, that's good. And this guy gets Quick Dive. It's basically a slam for 50 if you get heads. So if you get heads, it's good, but if you get tails, it doesn't do anything. Not that amazing. Got Wish Cash as well, I remember. This guy, as long as this guy's on your bench, you prevent all damage to this dude. So he's like a mine for himself. And it can do Surf, 30 for 2. And Magnitude, 60 for 4. And it's going to hit all bench Pokemon, yours and your opponent, for 10. Kind of like the Golem EX. Alright, so let me talk about the trainers now. We get some interesting shit for sure. We get the Balloon Berry. This was also released in the second generation, one of the E-Reader sets, I believe. Yeah, not sure. Maybe in Skyridge. So when the Pokemon Balloon Berry is attached to retreats, discard Balloon Berry instead of discarding energy cards. So this is like a more fair, I guess, OG Floatstone. You can retreat for free, but then you have to discard it. So yeah, very good card either way. You do lose it once you use it, but I guess you might as well use switch then. I don't know, but since this card is a tool, maybe you can search it in some ways. It's not a useless card, that's what I'm trying to say. Uh, you can do some shit with this, like with switch. You can even do combos with them together. Next up, we got Buffer Piece. This card actually, I know it from the Arceus set, but it was released in here too, I guess, originally. Damage done to the Pokemon Buffer Piece is attached to is reduced by 20, and at the end of the turn, you discard this card. So it's like the, oh my god, I don't remember, the charm thing in Flash 4 that blocks damage. Heart Charm, yeah, I think it's called Heart Charm, but you can only get the effect once. You get Energy Recycle System. You search your discard pile for basic energy cards. You can either show one of them, put it into your hand, or show three of them and shuffle them back to your deck. So this is pretty good. This is like a stretcher for energies. You can grab one and put it into your hand, or have a recovery deck effect. Grab three, put them back into your deck. Nice. I like this card back then. We got High Pressure System. Each player pays one more to retreat their fire and water Pokemon, one more energy. And Low Pressure System. Each grass and lightning Pokemon in play gets 10 more HP. Okay, so love for the grass and lightning Pokemon. Nice art. Okay, so now we got Mr. Brightness Compassion. So this is a pretty cool card, the most important supporter maybe from this set, I think. I guess maybe the reporter is important as well. But this card is basically a supporter scoop up. You choose one of your Pokemon in play, excluding Pokemon EX. Okay, it has that limitation. Return that Pokemon and all cards attached to it to your hand. So because we have this card, the Dragonite shit might be something. You can use a Pokemon and then when it gets hurt, you get an energy, put it on the Dragonite. So you get an energy for free and then you use this, put it back in the hand kind of shit. Mr. Brightness Compassion. You can use this with all sorts of shit later on with Swampert from Emerald. And you guys know all the tactics with these scoop up cards, all the shit you can do. Reuse an ability, a power when it's a Pokemon that you play it down. You save a Pokemon, you can move energies around with Sabertol and shit and do this combo again, Mr. Brightness Compassion. So it's definitely a great card. No cost, just a supporter. You can't use Pokemon EX, so that might be something, but it's fair. And last card, TV Reporter. This card is getting reprinted too, but they didn't update the effect. They did this with a lot of cards, builds, maintenance, a bunch of other cards. They should be updating the effects on these supporters. Otherwise, it's just going to be mediocre to useless. So this card basically draw 3 cards and then you discard any card from your hand. So back then this was a great card because it gives you good straight draw, 3 cards. And the discarding effect is good. You can discard anything you want. You draw first, then you discard. And obviously you can discard energies to set up the discard power for Blaziken, discard shit you don't need. So it was a good draw supporter back then. It's one of the supporters that people used, from what I understand, from what I saw from Jason Klasinski's articles too. But doing this today, when this gets reprinted, draw 3 and discard 1 is shit. When we have How, Charon, these cards that just let you draw 3. In my opinion, those cards should have been straight draw for 4 actually, with no cost. So yeah, and wow, these Steam decks look awesome. I can't believe I had the chance to buy these and I didn't once again. Shit. Anyway, so these are the cards. We get these 2 important supporter cards, a bunch of other decent supporter cards like the Bloomberry, Stadiums, Recycle System. I talked about the X's, talked about all the other cards that probably matter. I don't think I've missed anything. We have a bunch of Shelgons. This guy blocks 10 damage and shit. We get a random Marsh Stomp here. We have some other Pokemon. I could be here all day talking about them, but I think this video is going to be long as fuck. Long enough. So this is EX Dragon. Was definitely a hell of a set. If only just because of Rayquaza EX, man. Fucking everybody up. Good times. Still does this today. I can't wait for Rayquaza GX2. I've heard this guy is coming. So hopefully we get more Rayquaza madness, good stuff. Love. So I guess I didn't talk about the Horsey and Seadress, but uh, they're not that good. There's only one Seadra that can do 40. So you definitely use that for Kindra X if you use the first attack. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends. Cerebro94, what's up?